I'm Catherine Thompson, Director of Technology Research at Edison. I'm here today with Nick Jeffries, CEO of discoverIE Group. discoverIE is an international designer and manufacturer of customised electronics to industry, with a strong track record in making and integrating acquisitions. Nick, to kick off, could you give us a brief overview of the growth strategy of the group and how M&A fits into this?
Yeah, hi, Catherine. So we design and manufacture highly engineered, customized electronic components, either for customer-specific applications or application-specific areas. We aim to grow our business organically by around 10% per annum through cycle, that is, and certainly over the last 6 years, that's what we've achieved. And in addition to that, we acquire businesses that have similar characteristics to our own. We call it our discoverIE DNA, and bring those businesses into the group and focus all of our businesses then on selling into what we call our target markets, which are markets that grow above the average of the wider industrial market. So they are markets such as renewable energy, transportation, which is, for example, rail and specialist electrified transportation, medical, which is medical equipment, and then industrial and connectivity, which is industrial markets that play into the industrial Internet of Things, robotics, automation, and such areas which are increasingly controlled remotely and autonomously, and including with systems such as artificial intelligence and the like. So those four market areas are above market growth areas. We aim to design products into those application areas with our customers. And if we do that, we will grow above market rate. And so when we buy businesses that may have some degree of exposure into those markets, we focus the businesses more on those target markets, and that generally has the effect of accelerating their growth.
You just announced the acquisition of 2J Antennas Group. Could you explain how that fits into your strategy, what 2J brings to the group, and how you plan to integrate the business?
Yeah, so 2J is a business that it's a platform acquisition for us. We already have an antennas business that we acquired 2 years ago called Antenova, which is 2J is larger than Antenova, but they have very similar complementary product technologies. So very little product overlap. So we have a larger combined product portfolio in the antenna space. And the reason we acquired 2J is because firstly, it's a very high quality business that we've known of for some years. We knew of it even actually before we acquired Antenova. We see opportunity by putting it together with Antenova to expand the product portfolio that we're selling or able to sell to some of our industrial customers. And by it being a platform acquisition, it gives us a platform from which to make other acquisitions, other bolt-on acquisitions in the future in the wireless and RF comm space. So we bought this business to create the platform for us to be able to expand our position in the rapidly developing industrial automation and connectivity marketplace.
After this deal and the recent acquisition of Silvertel, your gearing is now towards the lower end of your target range of 1.5 to 2 times adjusted EBITDA. What is your appetite for further M&A in the short term, and how does your acquisition pipeline look?
Yes, that's right. We spent this calendar year, we spent 85 million sterling on 3 acquisitions. And gearing on a pro forma basis as of the end of March is, with this latest 2J acquisition, is 1.6. So as you say, we're just above the lower end of our target range. It gives us an approximate firepower for further acquisitions from our sort of cash debt resources of about 25 million. Roughly speaking, we're generating circa 30 million a year of operating cash flow. So over the next 6 months, we'll get, roughly speaking, another 15 or so million. So we've got about, for the second half, about 40 million of more firepower for further acquisitions. It's a good time to be looking at acquisitions. The market is cooling. The types of business that we buy are very resilient through slowing periods. So, as in the case of 2J and Silvercell before it, they are seeing some of the slowdown with the inventory correction adjustment, but we're not seeing the degrees of cyclicality that you see in the wider electronic markets that are more exposed to consumer markets. So that gives us a good opportunity to buy. It's a good time to be looking at buying more businesses. So we acquisition opportunity pipeline, and we have the firepower that I just outlined that will give us capacity to make more acquisitions during the second half. And we fully expect we're going into next year, there'll be good opportunities following on from that as well. So yeah, a busy period for acquisitions.
You have a target to reach an underlying operating margin of 15% by fiscal 2028. Could you discuss the progress you're making towards this target and how sustainable it is in a recessionary environment?
Yeah, so we made an operating margin of 11.5% in the last year to the last fiscal year, which was the year ending March 23. At the same time as announcing our annual results in June, we announced an increased margin target, midterm margin target, which is that of 15%, as you just say. On the way through to that, we're sticking to our old target, which was 13.5% by March 25, and we're well on track for that. And if you look back at the 3 acquisitions that we've now made this year so far, this calendar year so far, all of those businesses make in excess of 20% operating margin. So on the one hand, we've got the organic development of margin that we reported in our annual results, but we've also got the averaging up effect of these high margin acquisitions coming through. So we think that, approximately speaking, a third of the margin increment that we generate comes from organic margin improvement. So that's organic growth, good pricing disciplines, good management of operating infrastructure, i.e. efficiencies, on the sort of careful management of additional OPEX. And then the other 2/3 of the increment comes from these 20+% operating margin acquisitions that we're making. So how will we fare in a recessionary or a slower environment? So we have historically been very resilient as markets have slowed. In the most recent example of that, through the COVID period, our operating margin virtually unchanged. I think it dipped by 0.1%. So very, very static. And the way we do that is we manage the variable cost quite tightly. It comes out quickly. We take advantage of it quickly, and then we manage some of the other OPEX levers. And the key to it is managing it quickly. If you do that, you can offset some of the effects of a slowing market. So we expect that we will, if markets slow sort of next year, then we expect to be able to manage that in a similar way that we've done before. But the other thing we're focused on is the other thing that we can do to offset slowing markets is to drive our revenue as hard as we can. We have a very active design win program, and obviously the more new opportunities that we can win in the slowing market, the more we can offset any kind of natural slowdown. So that's also a big part of our focus, monitoring the design opportunities and design win rate. And what we've seen so far as the industry has started to normalize post the big bounce back last year is that whereas wider electronic markets, component markets, semiconductor markets have been quite cyclical, mostly because of their much greater exposure to consumer markets, we have no exposure to consumer markets, and so our revenues have been very, very strong, and they are still strong. So we expect that if we keep the design win rate strong, we should be able to offset any sort of macro slowing, and then by tight management of the OPEX and the pricing, we should be able to flow that through to EBIT.
Great. Well, many thanks for the update, Nick, and I look forward to seeing Tujo's progress as it joins the group.
Thanks, Catherine. Good to see you.